everybody. Welcome to another edition of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. Today I'm going to come at you with some really good news. We got some great gun news, some great constitutional freedoms news from California today. I know that's a weird source for great gun news, but it seems that Benitez has released his ruling on the standard capacity magazine ban in California. Now, if you're not familiar with this saga that's been going on here, it started back in, I believe, 2019 when the ban was ruled unconstitutional and people were able to buy magazines. People even went down there to see what was going on. I went down there, took my kids down, went down for the magazine holiday. But eventually, that got stayed. It got overturned because even though it was upheld by the appeals court that it was unconstitutional, Bonta, Newsom, etc., they got together a bunch of their cronies on the appeals court, their political cronies, and they did an en banc hearing and then overturned Benitez's ruling saying it was unconstitutional. Well, that then got appealed to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, you guys are wrong. By overturning this, you are going against Bruen. You are not following the constitutional law of the land, so we're sending it back, giving you another chance to get it right. And that's where we've been at for a very long time. The Supreme Court sent it back to the original court saying, rule again and give the appeals court another chance to be correct on it. And before I go any further with this, I want to say if you hear any weird noises, I'm sorry, but Django is right here. Since he's been on medication for his hypothyroidism, he's had a lot more energy. He's been a lot more active, got a more vibrant personality, and he wants to follow me around more. So he's out here right now looking at me. He's gone from like 140 pounds down to under 120 pounds in just like a little over a month. So he's really changed since he started his medication for his thyroid. But I just want to let you know if you hear any weird noises, it's probably him. And now with that being said, our little Django the Fat Dog update, let's get back to the original topic. As I said, the Supreme Court sent it back to the state court. And we've been waiting for that ruling to come out. Well, it's out now. He once again ruled that the standard capacity magazine ban is unconstitutional. Not only did he rule that it's unconstitutional, he basically said the state made no argument for it, really. That everything they put forth in their defense of it was non-analogous. It had nothing to do with the constitutionality of the magazine ban. None of the laws that they tried to show validated this law because, under Bruen, you have to have a historic precedent for any restriction. None of the things they tried to show as a precedent for this restriction had anything to do with this. He said that there could have been laws back in those days. If the founders were really worried about how much ammo someone had, they'd say, well, you can only have this much powder, or you can only have this many, lead rounds. But none of that existed. And since they couldn't show anything even similar to that, they had no real defense whatsoever of the unconstitutional law. So once again, he has said, it is unconstitutional. Now, does that mean you get to go buy magazines today? No. Well, there's a 10-day stay on it. It doesn't go into effect for 10 days. That gives Bonta, Newsom, etc. time to file for a stay, an injunction. So you have to wait those 10 days. Now, if they get that stay or injunction, you're going to have to wait a little longer. Now, will they get the stay? Well, it's not as likely as it would normally be right now because even their political crony judges have said, hey, our hands are tied now. We already got them slapped by the Supreme Court for ruling against them. If we ruled against them again, that would just be blatant defiance. Then you're getting into impeachment behavior. So they don't really want to do that. So it doesn't look like they're going to have a very good chance of getting any types of injunctions or stays, but you never know. It's California. They do whatever they want to do sometimes. But even if they get it, they ain't going to stay for very long. Because here's the thing. The Supreme Court doesn't like it when you openly defy them. Now, they sent it back to them once saying, you were wrong, read Bruen again, and then rule again. One time is, a courtesy. If now you just openly defy them, you think they're going to let that sit for very long before they take it up? No, they're not. They're going to take that up, and they're going to decide the way they already said. You were right the first time, wrong the second time, so try it again. So that would actually be better in a lot of ways. Because then the magazine ban wouldn't just crumple in California, it would go away everywhere, like here in Washington. which is why I'm betting old Bob Turd Ferguson is shitting in his little lacy panties right now because, the magazine ban is one of his pet projects. It's his baby. And no, I'm not saying that Turd Ferguson likes to wear women's underwear while being spanked by boyish-looking men dressed as Japanese schoolgirls. I'm not saying that at all. That's what I've heard, but I'm not saying it's a fact. You'd have to look that up on your set for yourself. But like I said, I'm betting he's not liking this because that means it doesn't look good for Washington and their bans. So as of right now, in 10 days, it'll go into effect. Unless they get a stay or an injunction, which will delay it, but that would make it go to the Supreme Court eventually, and it would be an even bigger deal. But for now, it's looking like in California, pretty soon you're going to be able to buy standard capacity magazines again. So this is a very good thing. This is a very positive ruling. For people who say, things like Bruen don't make any difference. They make a huge difference. Like I've been telling you. I told you when Bruen was decided that there'd be a year or two of politicians freaking out, trying to do whatever they can do, throwing everything against the wall, and then there would be a wait period while things started working their way through the process, and then you'd start to see results. Well, we're starting to see results. In fact, we've already seen a lot of results. There's been like 32 cases that have been decided on Bruen in a positive light for gun rights since the Bruen decision. In fact, overall, challenges to anti-gun laws have gone from like a 4% success rate before Heller and Bruen to a nearly 20% success rate now. And that's even counting the majority that get thrown out for standing or clerical errors, etc. So big strides for gun rights recently. I know a lot of organizations like to try to tell you different, but that's because they want you to give them money. They have to justify their existence. But right now we are winning, and this is another big win. Now let's hope they don't get a stay or an injunction so that people in California can start enjoying the right to buy standard capacity magazines right away, and then we start working on that roster, which is, I think, the next thing that needs to go. But let's hope that happens. But in a way, I kind of hope it doesn't, because I would love to see the California court, say, you Supreme Court, we're going to do what we want, and then see what happens. Because that would be a perfect example of around and find out. And not only would California find out if it went to that extreme, but so would states like Washington and other states that have magazine bans where they don't allow standard capacity magazines. They would all find out because California around.